right, the Myles Garrett trade. We're going to react to it here on Four Verts, presented by Prize Picks. My name is Harrison Graham. I am on vacation. I'm up in the mountains in Colorado, but if you haven't seen it, I'm sure you have, but the Browns have traded Myles Garrett to the Rams for a haul. The Rams send Jared Verse, a 2027 first-round pick, a 2028 second-round pick, and a 2029 third-round pick to acquire Myles Garrett, one of the greatest defensive players in NFL history, as they are clearly going all in. I'm going to react to this from both teams' perspectives, and quite frankly, I think this is one of those trades that, as it's happening, obviously we have to see how it plays out, I think it's a win-win trade for both teams. I really, really do. So we'll get into that. So hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because even on vacation, I'm bringing you guys a video. Okay, so let's get to the Rams side of this first, because obviously they get the superstar in Myles Garrett. It's been reported that, they were in on A.J. Brown. Once that fell apart, they started to think bigger. Part of why they drafted Ty Simpson in the first round this year was because they weren't going to have a first-round pick next year and potentially the year after to acquire their quarterback for the future, because they had a good feeling they were going to be able to acquire Myles Garrett, which now they have. Now, I still wouldn't have taken Ty Simpson. I would have taken a win-now piece and just fully gone all in for this year and the next couple of years, but I do at least understand that line of thinking. As far as this trade goes specifically, to me, the Rams are a clear top team to beat in the NFC and really in the NFL. They have top-end talent at all the premium positions. Matthew Stafford, top 3, top 5 quarterback. You've got Puka Nacua, one of the best receivers in the NFL. Devontae Adams, a very good number 2. You've got a good offensive line. You've got Myles Garrett, the best defensive player in the league and the best pass rusher in the league. You trade for Trent McDuffie, one of the best corners in the NFL. You sign Jalen Watson, who's probably the best number 2 corner in the NFL. So they are loaded across the board. And by the way, they still have Byron Young. They still have Brayton Fisk. Like, that defensive line is just absolutely stacked. And last year, they were essentially a play away from being in the Super Bowl. And I think we all agree they would have also beaten the Patriots. So the Rams go out and get an all-pro corner in Trent McDuffie. They go out and get the best defensive player in the league in Myles Garrett. They add some other pieces like Jalen Watson to their defense, and now they have no weaknesses on paper. Obviously, they have to go out and do it. They're going to have to go out and win the key games, but to me, they're a clear favorite right now to represent the NFC in the Super Bowl and win the Super Bowl this season, which, oh, by the way, is at SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles. So, hefty price to pay. You give up Jared Verse, a 25, 26-year-old pass rusher who's ascending, who's third in the NFL in pressure since entering the league, behind Myles Garrett and I think Micah Parsons. That's not nothing. You give up your first next year, that's not nothing. And then a second and a third in each of the prior or following drafts. So, like, this was a pretty penny and a pretty price to pay for Sean McVay for Les Snead, but they're a year-to-year organization. Stafford is year-to-year. McVay, in theory, should and could coach for a long time, but he could walk away for TV at any moment, potentially. Les Snead, if McVay were to walk, could Les Snead walk? That's certainly a possibility as well. So you gotta respect it. And for everything people complained about their draft, of this is not a win-now draft. Well, free agency, the trade market has been very much go all in for this year with all the moves that I mentioned. So they're, to me, the best team on paper in the NFL now. Injuries happen. People overperform. People underperform across the league. So we'll see how it goes. But in the NFC, to me, it's the Rams, it's the defending champ Seahawks, and then it's a cluster of other teams. It's the Bears. It's the Eagles, who traded A.J. Brown. We're going to break that down on a video tomorrow. It's the 49ers, the Packers, the Lions. It's a cluster of teams, but I think it's number 1 Rams, number 2 Seahawks, and then about 5 teams. That's how it feels like in the NFC right now. So that is the Rams side of it. I want to get to the Browns side of this as well, because I do like this for Cleveland. I know it's crazy to say you trade an all-time great, a Hall of Famer who's still at the peak of his powers, coming off a year in which he broke the sack record, but I think this was the right time to make this trade. We'll break down their side of this in just a moment, but first, do want to tell you guys about our awesome sponsor, Prize Picks. No one's doing daily fantasy better. The basketball finals are going to get going here in a couple of days. Already got a 3-player lineup. You pick more or less on stat projections available, and if you hit, you win money. It's pretty sweet. Little $20 lineup here to win $120 if it hits. I took more. Jalen Brunson, 25.5 points. He's been excellent in game ones in his Knicks career, so I like that to hit. I'll keep riding Julian Champagnie. He's been drilling threes, only 2 threes. I took the more, and if he hits at least 2, get a little push there. Worst case scenario. Then Karl Anthony Towns, 34 points, rebounds, and assists. I took the less. I just think, look, Wemby, that's going to be a tough challenge. I think he's going to have to feel it out for a game or two. So took the less on that one. $20 to win 120 on this lineup. Sign up with the link in the comments and description. Create your account. Use code HMA to get $50 in lineups once you play your first $5 lineup. You sign up, you play for $5. Use code HMA. You get $50 additional in lineups with Prize Picks. No one's doing it better. Go check them out today. Okay, let's talk about the Browns. The leaks were there were cracks in the story for months that this could happen, that they could trade Myles Garrett. I never bought Andrew Berry saying he's a Brown for life as an explanation for why they pushed back his $29 million signing bonus or offseason bonus to the week before the season. You only do that if you're opening the door for a potential trade. That's what all the cap experts said. That's what some of the reporting said. Now, as of a couple weeks ago, there wasn't deep reporting that he's going to get traded, but Albert Breer kind of stoked the flames on this late last week. Like, hey, I think they could and should trade Myles Garrett. Keep an eye on this. And he was right. That earlier today, Schefter started commenting on it. The local media, Mary Kay Cabot in Cleveland, Todd Monken was asked a question. He was like, yeah, I was never promised that Myles Garrett would be on the team when I took the job. So to me, those were cracks in the foundation. Like it feels like they're about to trade him. And then an hour later, the news broke. So, and look, I think it's the right move for all the reasons I've said on prior videos. And I'll say it again here. He's 30 years old. He's coming off a career historic season where he broke the sack record. His value is never going to be higher. As guys turn 30, if he even has a slightly down year, you get nowhere near what you just got. Think about this. You got one of the best young pass rushers in the league that's extension eligible after this year. If he has a good year, you can pay him. You got a first-round pick next year. You need a quarterback, so you'll have 2 ones next year. You got an additional second in the following draft and an additional third in the following draft. That's a lot of ammunition to move up to either get a quarterback or to continue to build this roster. It's never easy saying goodbye to a player of this caliber like Myles Garrett, but he's been an all-time great for 8, 9, 10 years, and you haven't done much with it. So you might as well trade him right now and fully commit to this rebuild. You see teams all the time, they start to rebuild, they are rebuilding, but they hang on to their best player as he starts to get older. And he's not declining by any means, but realistically, the Browns are at least 2, if not 3 or 4 years away. By then, Myles Garrett's 33, 34 years old. He's still going to be good by then, but he's not going to be the best player in the league. And you're certainly not going to get the value that you just got today if you decide to trade him 18 months from now. So I give kudos to Andrew Berry in Cleveland for pulling the trigger because it's not easy to make this move. And they just did it, and I thought they got a great return. Jared Verts is a very good player. Like I said, 3rd in pressures since entering the league. He only has 12 sacks in 2 years, so he's got to finish more of those plays. But that year 3 jump is when a lot of these talented pass rushers really break out. We've seen it over the years. Aiden Hutchinson, Will Anderson took that big jump in year 3, just got paid. It happens, and I think there's a good chance it's going to happen here. And then you're just resetting at pass rusher with, yes, not as good of a player, but a guy that's 4 or 5 years younger that you can pay and grow with as you commit to this rebuild. So I like the trade for both teams. I think it made sense right now to move Myles Garrett. Obviously, teams are loading up for the 2027 NFL draft. Again, we'll talk about that A.J. Brown trade tomorrow, another big trade that happened today. I wanted to do their own videos because I think they're just worthy of that. So be on the lookout for that. But an arms race is happening. I'm going to do a video on that as well. Teams are loading up for this quarterback class in the 2027 NFL draft. So stay tuned because that's going to be a big talking point the rest of this offseason and obviously into the season, into next offseason as we get closer to next draft cycle. But, man, the Rams, they're going for it. When they trade for Von Miller, they won a Super Bowl. They're hoping history repeats itself this time. What do you guys think? Who do you think won the trade? I think both teams. I like it for both. I know it's a cliche answer, but in this case, I think it's true. Obviously, time will tell. If the Rams don't win a Super Bowl with Myles Garrett, it's a loss for them. If they do, it's a win. If the Browns don't hit some of this capital, then it's a loss for them as well. But on paper, I like it for both teams. You let me know, Rams, Browns, both, neither. Who won the trade? Let me know in the comment section below. We will be back tomorrow. AJ Brown trade reaction and other news surrounding the NFL, so subscribe. We'll see you then.